There is a moment in any apprenticeship when the senior person stops watching over your shoulder and lets you do the work. They are still in the room. They will check what you produced. If you make a mistake, they catch it. But for the first time, the action is in your hands, not in theirs. Most people who built the Watcher in episode 4 are sitting in the opposite chair. You are the senior person now. Claude is the apprentice. The Watcher has been doing assembly work for you for weeks, maybe months, and it has been getting better at it. The question that follows naturally is the question I have been getting in comments and in email for weeks. When does it start doing things and not just summarizing them? That is today's build. The first build in this arc where Claude does something on your behalf and not just watches. We are calling it the hand. The episode is what the hand is, what it is not, the example I built first, and the 4 layers of permission that make this safe to actually run. The line we crossed in episode 4 was timing. The line we crossed today is action. They are different lines. The second one is bigger. Build 0.05, the hand. 5th in the build arc, 6 episodes total. We are walking up a staircase. Each build is 1 step higher in what Claude is doing on your behalf. The Watcher in episode 4 read your inputs and wrote you a report. The hand reaches into the inputs and changes things. That is the shift. If you have not watched episode 4, The Watcher, watch it first. This episode assumes you understand the principle of timing autonomy and the 3 boundaries that made the Watcher trustable. We are building on top of those boundaries today, not replacing them. Before what the hand is, what the hand is not. This matters more than the rest of the episode put together, so I am going to slow down here. The hand is not an agent. The word agent gets used to mean 3 different things in the current moment, and one of those meanings is dangerous. The dangerous meaning is the thing that decides what to do, decides how to do it, decides whether to do it, and reports back when it is finished. That is not what the hand is. The hand is not deciding anything. The hand is doing things you specifically told it to do, in ways you specifically told it to do them, against inputs you specifically gave it access to. The hand is not autonomous in the science fiction sense. It is autonomous only in the same way a calculator is autonomous. You press the button, the calculator does the arithmetic. You wouldn't say the calculator decided to add those numbers. It did the arithmetic you asked for. The hand operates on the same principle, just at a higher level of abstraction. You define the actions. You define the inputs. The hand executes the actions when the conditions you defined are met. This is the framing that has to be airtight before anything else. If the hand starts to feel like a thing that might surprise you, you have built it wrong, and the fix is to tighten the scope until it is impossible for the hand to do anything you have not pre-authorized. What the hand is, in 1 sentence. A set of predefined actions Claude can execute against scoped resources on triggers you set with reporting and the ability to undo. Let me unpack that. Predefined actions. The actions are named in advance. The hand can draft a reply to an email. The hand can move a calendar event. The hand can update a status document. The action list is fixed. Claude does not invent new actions. If you want the hand to do a new thing, you change the action list. That is a deliberate operator move, not something the hand can do for itself. Scoped resources. The hand only touches what you told it to touch. The triage label in your inbox, not the whole inbox. The shared calendar for your team, not your full calendar. The status doc for one project, not your whole Notion. Tight scope is what keeps the hand from drifting into work you didn't authorize. Triggers you set. The hand runs when a condition is met. A new email lands in the triage label. A specific meeting ends. A document is updated. The trigger is named and bounded. The hand is not running constantly looking for things to do. It is waiting for a defined event. Reporting. The hand writes down what it did, every time, where it acted, when, what action it took, what input it acted on. You read the log. You catch mistakes before they compound. The ability to undo. Anything the hand does is reversible by you. A drafted reply sits in your drafts folder until you send it. A moved meeting can be moved back. An updated doc has version history. Reversibility is the floor under everything else. 5 elements: predefined actions, scoped resources, triggers, reporting, reversibility. Together, those 5 elements are what make the hand something you can actually run. The example I built first, the triage hand for my inbox. Most operators get the same 80 emails a day. Most of them fall into a small number of categories. For me, the categories are roughly these: newsletters and reading material, vendor and supplier emails that need a one-line acknowledgement, calendar requests where someone is asking me to confirm or move a time, genuine work emails from people I am collaborating with, things that need actual thinking from me. Before the hand, every one of these emails got the same treatment. They sat in my inbox. I opened them in order. I dealt with them or didn't. The newsletters got skipped. The acknowledgements got delayed because they felt small and there were bigger things. The calendar requests sat for hours because they required a context switch. The genuine work emails got my best attention, but only after the noise had been waded through. The hand changes the shape of this. New email arrives. Claude looks at it. Claude assigns it to one of the 5 categories. For 3 of those categories, Claude drafts a reply in my voice based on what the email says and what I have previously written in similar threads. The drafts sit in my drafts folder. I review them in a batch in the morning. I send the ones that look right. I edit the ones that need editing. I write from scratch the ones that need genuine thought. The newsletters skip the draft step entirely and just get archived to a reading folder. The result: the inbox at 9 a.m. is not the inbox I used to see. It is sorted. The replies that need to go out are already drafted. The genuine work is at the top of the screen, not buried under acknowledgements. I review the drafts in 15 minutes instead of writing them in an hour. The genuine work gets my best attention because the noise has been pre-handled. The watcher writes you a report. The hand drafts what comes next. You still send it. A short list of what this triage hand specifically does not do, because the boundaries matter as much as the capabilities. The hand does not send emails. Every draft sits in drafts until I send it. The send button is mine. The hand does not delete emails, not even spam. Things get moved to folders. Nothing leaves the inbox without my action. The hand does not reply to anything in the genuine work category. Those land in my inbox untouched. The hand recognizes that category as the place where its judgment is the worst and mine is the best. The hand does not accept or decline calendar requests. It drafts a proposed response based on my calendar availability. I press send. The hand does not learn new categories on its own. If a new kind of email starts arriving and it doesn't fit the existing categories, the hand asks me what to do with it. It does not guess. It does not improvise. These are not bugs. They are the design. The hand is deliberately small, smaller than people expect. The smallness is what makes it safe to run for months without checking it constantly. The 4 layers of permission that hold the hand together. The first one is actions. You name the actions the hand can take. In writing, in a single document. Every action gets a name, a description, and a set of conditions under which it runs. For my triage hand, the actions are: Categorize incoming email into one of 5 categories. Draft a reply for emails in the acknowledgement category. Draft a calendar response for emails in the scheduling category. Move newsletters to the reading folder. Flag genuine work emails for my attention. 5 named actions. That is the entire action set. The hand cannot do anything else. If a request comes in that doesn't fit one of those 5 actions, the hand does nothing and waits for me. The actions are the contract. The second layer is resources. The hand only sees what you give it. For my triage hand. The hand sees emails that arrive in the inbox after a specific date. It does not see email history before that date. It does not see other email accounts. It does not see Slack, Calendar, or any other system unless I specifically add it to the resource list. This scoping is enforced at the tool level. The hand is using a Claude tool with specific permissions. The permissions are read incoming email, draft outgoing email, move email to folders. That is it. The tool itself is incapable of doing anything outside of those permissions. Even if Claude wanted to do something else, which it doesn't, the underlying tool would not let it. This is the layer most people skip when they think about AI autonomy. They imagine Claude has access to everything and is choosing what to do. The reality is that Claude has access to exactly what you grant it, at the system level, before any prompt is even written. The scoping is structural, not aspirational. The third layer is reporting. The hand writes down everything it does. The reporting is automatic. Every time the hand runs, it appends a line to a log document. The line includes the timestamp, the trigger that fired, the action it took, and the resource it acted on. I read the log once a day. It takes about 2 minutes. Most days, the log is boring. 3 drafts to acknowledgement emails, 2 newsletters archived, 1 calendar response drafted. Boring is the goal. Boring means the hand is doing what it was built to do and nothing else. The day the log is not boring is the day the hand caught something I should look at. Maybe it categorized something into the wrong bucket. Maybe a new sender showed up that doesn't fit the categories. Maybe a draft it produced reads strangely because the source email was unusual. Those are the days the log is doing its work, surfacing the edge cases to my attention before they compound. If you don't read the log, you are not running a hand. You are running a black box. The reading is the practice. The practice is what makes the autonomy trustable. The fourth layer is reversibility. Everything the hand does, you can undo. Drafted replies sit in drafts. You can delete them, rewrite them, or send them. The draft itself is the reversible artifact. Moved newsletters can be moved back. The newsletter is still in your account, just in a different folder. Nothing has been deleted. Flagged emails are still in the inbox. The flag is just a label, not a removal. If, 6 months from now, you decide the hand is wrong about its categories or its drafts, you can change the entire system. The hand is not embedded in anything that can't be unwound. There is no permanent change being made. Reversibility is the floor. It is what makes everything else possible. Without it, you would have to verify every action before it happens, which would defeat the point of having a hand at all. With it, you can let the hand run and check after, knowing that anything wrong is fixable. Predefined actions, scoped resources, reporting, reversibility, 4 layers. Together, they make autonomy safe to run. The honest part. What having a hand actually costs you. You lose the feeling of having read every email yourself. For some people, this is a relief. For others, it is a real loss. Reading every email yourself is how some people stay close to their work, their team, their relationships. If that is you, the hand is going to feel wrong even when it is technically correct. The discomfort is real. It does not mean the hand is failing. You take on a new kind of attention. You used to read emails. Now you read drafts. The work is different, but it is still work. The time you save is not as much as you think it will be on day 1. By day 30, the time savings are real, but they take the form of better attention to the genuine work, not the form of getting more done overall. You accept that some drafts will be wrong, sometimes badly wrong. The hand will occasionally draft a reply that misreads the tone of the original email, or fails to recognize that this particular sender wants a longer or shorter response than the category default. You will catch this in review, but only if you actually do the review. The review is non-negotiable. The hand is not a fire and forget system. You will go through a calibration period. Day 1 is the worst day for any new hand. Day 90 is when it starts to feel native. Most people who quit on a hand quit in the first 3 weeks because they expected it to be perfect immediately. It will not be. It will be useful and getting better, and after 3 months, it will be a thing you cannot imagine working without. Here is the move I want to recommend to anyone watching this episode. Do not build a hand. Build the smallest possible hand. The version of the triage hand you should build first is not the 5-category version I described. It is the 1-category version. Pick the category of email that takes you the most time relative to the value it produces. For most people, this is acknowledgements. Build a hand that drafts acknowledgements only. Leave every other email category untouched. Run that for 2 weeks. Read the log every day. Notice what the hand gets right and what it gets wrong. Calibrate the prompt and the category definitions until the drafts feel like ones you would send. Once that single category hand is boring, add the 2nd category. The boring is the goal. A hand that is producing drafts you regularly have to rewrite is not ready to expand. A hand that is producing drafts you regularly send unmodified is ready for the next category. 3 months in, you will have a multi-category hand that you trust. Before 3 months, you have a hand that needs more calibration. The slowness is the practice. It is not a delay. It is the work that makes the autonomy real. A note on where this sits in the arc. The hand is the 5th build in a 6-build arc. We have been walking a staircase. Each build is 1 step higher in what Claude is doing on your behalf. Episode 1 set the philosophy. Episode 2 built something small at the edges. Episode 3 built something central, the dashboard. Episode 4 added timing autonomy with the watcher. Episode 5 is doing this, adding action autonomy, carefully, with 4 layers of permission. Episode 6 is where it all stitches together. Build 0.06 closes the arc by integrating everything into a single operating system. The dashboard you open every morning, the watcher that writes the briefing overnight, the hand that drafts your replies. All of them running together, talking to each other, with you in the operator's seat. That is the destination. The hand is the last building block before we connect them all. Take this build seriously. Get it small. Get it boring. Then we connect everything. If you remember nothing else, remember this. A hand is not a thing that decides what to do. It is a thing that does what you decided when you are not there to do it. The next episode in the build arc is the last one, build 0.06, the operating system. That episode closes the arc by stitching the dashboard, the watcher, the hand, and everything else into a single operating system you can run as your default. We have been building components. Build 0.06 is the integration. It ships alongside the flagship release later this year. Until then, build the hand. Run it small. Get it boring. By the time the operating system episode lands, you should have a working triage hand that has been running for months. That's the episode. See you in the next one.